Hello, it's Layperson Lisa with a reflection on the readings for the 33rd Sunday in Ordinary Time. And this morning, as I was reflecting on the readings, I was watching the squirrels. And fall is here, and the squirrels are busy working. They are busy preparing for colder weather, when the food will not be as abundant. And so they're racing around, gathering nuts, digging holes, chasing each other to keep them away from their nut stash, and digging, covering up their nuts in the ground so that they are prepared for when the food is not available. And it just made me think that these squirrels are hard at work preparing. And it's kind of like the second reading where St. Paul talks about hard work and perseverance, and that we have to continually work at developing a deeper spiritual life, because then when we face times of trial and suffering and pain, and when the fears and doubts and temptations flood us, we can easily stop working at our spiritual life, stop working at our relationship with Jesus, and let that stuff overtake us. And when that happens, we can fall into a place where we lose hope and a place of despair. And so it is so important to persevere and endure, much like Jesus talked about in the gospel, that we have to persevere and prepare for meeting Jesus face to face when we pass from this life to the next. And so we can't stand still when it comes to our spiritual life. We have to constantly refocus to our gaze to Jesus, especially when the troubles of the world, the troubles of life, the situations that we may find ourselves in have can just move our gaze from Jesus. And so earlier this week, I was kind of letting that happen to me, in the sense that I was letting these doubts kind of flood my mind. And so it was hard for me to believe what I know is the truth. It was hard for me to believe that I'm good enough to do what God is calling me to do. The doubts were just there and just blinding me to what I know is the truth, but I could not see it. And so it's a constant U-turn to Jesus. And so I might have to do this every 5 seconds, like refocus on Jesus. And that's where the perseverance and the endurance comes in, that refocusing, no matter what we're experiencing, no matter what we're going through, no matter what we're being thrown into, as far as situations, as far as illness, as far as the sense of sometimes people are just uncharitable to us, and that can kind of affect us. That's kind of been something that people have been mentioning this past week, about people being ungenuine, people being manipulative, people being unkind, and just really trying to stick like daggers, like little jabs at people. But we make that U-turn towards Jesus especially when we feel those things affecting us. We make that U-turn towards Jesus, and we might have to make that U-turn constantly until He is our focus and not what the world is throwing at us. And so as we prepare for Advent, which is just a few weeks away, let's continuously work, persevere, and allow Jesus to give us the endurance to always refocus on Him, to make that U-turn towards Him no matter what we face. So where in your life are you allowing these things to kind of pull you down? Where are you losing your focus with Jesus? Allow these coming weeks to refocus and make that U-turn towards Him.